It's 1565, and the Ottomans, led by Suleiman I, have mobilized their armies to take the island of Malta from the Knights of St. John. Can the Knights hold back this absolute juggernaut of an empire and their vast armies, or will they fall today? And will Christendom lose another great bastion of defense? What's up, guys, and welcome back. I am PopeJohnPaul, and we're here with another 12-12 siege, and this is a awesome 3v3 siege between the Ottoman Empire and the forces of Christendom, made up of the Kingdom of Jerusalem, who are like being the Knights of St. John today, because we don't obviously have a faction for the Knights of St. John, but the Knights of St. John were the Hospitaller Order. Really, they like changed the name, but they were the same thing. They go on to become what is now St. John's Ambulance in the UK. Because they were called the Knights of St. John. And here they are, the Hospitaller Knights. Yes, then the Knights of St. John, then the Knights of Rhodes, and then they were the Knights of Malta is what they were called, in that sort of order. But yeah, so we have a lot of Hospitallers in the rear here. Mostly all of the shock infantry is Hospitallers, and all of the cavalry that they have. And there is like infantry here, which are like made up of like, they're supposed to be like the town militia. Obviously they're like sergeants, they're actually quite good. We also have like Franco Matti spears here that also are like making up the militia. The Ottomans are here with their huge armies. In history, it was an army around the size of 40,000 men, and well, we're not quite got that size today. We have about 8,000 on the battlefield today. And as you can see, there is an army over here. This is another Christian army. It's very similar to like the Siege of Vienna. At Malta, there was a relief force that did arrive. This army is made up of Italians and Spanish. So this is the Kingdom of Sicily. But yes, they are a like sort of a, well, Sicily at that time was controlled by the Spanish. So it's an army made up of Spanish and Italians. I think we have some Aragonese swords here. Yeah. So they will be joining the battle later on. And in history, they never really make it on to the actual battlefield. They kind of turn up late and sort of scare the Ottomans off. So really it is a victory for the Knights of St. John in history, but this is total war and there will be changes, so they may need this support from the Italian forces here, as the Ottomans have overwhelming forces. Maybe not overwhelming quality, but overwhelming forces, and these Martellosas here are about to engage these Franco-Matti spears. I don't know what they're doing quite here, but they're trying to form up and or fall back, or one or the other, and they're falling back actually. And yeah, these Martellosas will soon be going into combat, you imagine. But if you are enjoying seeing 12-12 content at the moment on the channel, then do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and a comment to show your support. We have had a bit of a lack of 12-12 at the moment. I've been trying to do a few scenarios, and they're either not paid off or not happened in the end. So I'm glad this one eventually got done. I really was looking forward to doing this scenario. As you can see, we have the first bit of combat as the Martellosas, these Greek-hired troops from the Ottomans, are joining the battle. We have various other units over here. We have like Despot spears here. These are like guys from Bulgaria. We have Haramis, which the Haramis guys are tier 2, which I guess this is supposed to be a tier 3 army, but these guys are supposed to represent like the pirate forces led by Dragut, who brought like a good portion of the Ottoman army. It was brought by the Dragut, who's like the head of the Barbary states in like Tunis. They're kind of like a tributary of the Ottomans at this point. But yeah, so he's got a lot of... so one army has a lot of these Haramis. We also have a lot of, like... If I can find them... Where are they? There are a lot of, like, other units here that are not of... there's the Ayers, I guess. I guess they're sort of... Where are they? There's a sword unit down here. Of course, when I try to find it, it's impossible to find. Who knows? There are like some Eastern European units, is what I was trying to say. There's a lot of them around. Yeah, here they are. Vasilevsky or whatever. They're like Eastern European. There were a lot of troops brought from other parts of the Empire, not truly like Turk units that were there at the battle. So there's some of them. And obviously, we have the Janissaries, which are here today. The Janissary Billmen here. We have Janissary Gunners. We have Janissary Archers. We have a lot of Janissaries here, as there were. And there's Janissary Shock Infantry as well. So yes, we got plenty of Janissaries, plenty of, well, generally just everything. Here we go, got some more engagement going on over here. These swords probably should beat the spears. Whether they will, I don't know, but the tower support, they might have a chance, these spears. But here we go. So, I mean, they're fighting now on the, below the walls. You can see someone being set alight. Poor person. But yes, these, the Sicilians won't arrive for a good while, so they have a lot of time to the Ottomans to basically making the assault and actually get some damage done. And you can see they're already flanking around here. This is going to be pretty painful for the defenders. They need to be careful of this. These Martellosos now going into combat and engaging the sergeants in behind. So this is a bit more of an elite defense here, these sergeants. These Franco Matti spears are not really that great. But that's the whole point. They are supposed to have militia that are not so great. The best troops were made up of the Knights of St. John and a few other various knights that sort of came together, like Spanish and Frankish. They all came to join, took the call up and helped to come and defend this bastion. And at this point, Malta has 5 or 6 forts on it. Obviously, this is not like a Maltese map. It's just a random map. But because they don't have many custom maps of 1212, which is very sad. But yeah, Malta, actually at the Siege of Malta, there was about 5 or 6 different different sieges going on. All taking part at the same time. The Ottomans, well, most of them at the same time. The Ottomans attacked 5 or 6 different forts. And they took quite a few of them. I think it's the Fort St. Angelino, which was one of the last ones. Angelo, I think, was one of the last ones that stood, along with St. Elmo, I think, are the last 2 that stood. I could be wrong. I can't remember. I have been to Malta and seen some of the forts. And they look amazing. What is left? Certainly Valletta has sort of very nice fortifications going on as well. Valletta being the capital of Malta. But yeah, there's a lot of history that's still there of the Great Siege of Malta, and they have a lot of pride for, the Maltese still have a lot of pride for winning this siege in history, because it's something that they won themselves. They didn't obviously the Italians and that turn up, and the Italians and the Spanish turn up, but they win it really on their own. Like I said, they turn up late. It's more that the fear factor of the Ottomans on hearing that they'd arrived, they decided, well, we're not gonna stick around for the winter. But yeah, now these archers onto the wall here, these Janissary archers, these are some of the best archers in the game. I love their armor. It's so you see the Ottoman Turks in movies and stuff like that. This is how they're armored up. And they really need to start shooting down here at these troops down here. Give some support and help break through these lines. Because, yeah, the Martellosos are already having a hard time. They're already breaking here. We already can see some shock infantry coming over. We have some dismounted Hospitaller Knights. These guys are really well chevroned up because, well, they are supposed to be the elite troops of St. John. There's not many of them, but they're very elite. There's about 6 units, or I think 6 to 8 units of them. So they're quite elite. And you can see here the Martellosos are losing. We've got some shock infantry now onto the wall. These guys are going to try and flank around and do some damage to these sergeants, you imagine. But yeah, here we go. We can see that the shock infantry is about to go into combat, and they all engage these sergeants with their huge axes. And there they go, then they go. And these are Janissaries, and Janissaries are also Christian, children that are basically being either converted to Islam, or they've just being brought into the service of the Sultan from a very young age. So they don't know anything but killing. It's a very, very strange way of life, but it's a very effective way of making soldiers, even if they are child soldiers to start with. There you go, first unit of Franco Matti breaking, and they're breaking here as well, so that is not good. As you can see, the Sicilians are already marching forward. It's a little bit premature, I think, this, but he's marching forward quite happily. We have a lot of cavalry here waiting, just in reserve. We were trying to wait for somewhere to break it through, but then we thought, well, we know that they're coming. I know that's kind of the benefit that we know that the Sicilian troops are here, so we kind of even though you're trying to keep it quite historical, you just know that they're there, so you do kind of keep troops in reserve. But that cavalry won't be enough to stop the Italians anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And there you go, the Franco Matti breaking again. So they are already through the Ottomans. They can go straight after, well, another unit of Franco Matti by the looks of it, and then some crossbows. Over on other areas, they've started to engage. We have some shock infantry over here, some Martellosos as well. Really need to get their archers into support. Like, they have lots of crossbows and stuff like that. They need to get these guys supporting and like shooting into like the flanks and stuff like that. Because they've got like loads and loads of troops like that available. They've got some Ascari nobles in here that have been doing some damage. And then, I mean, look at the amount of troops. This is a lot of troops blobbing up here. They need to be careful that they're not blobbing. This is probably too much of a blob, even for the Ottomans. Like, their troops are not as great. I mean, actually, these swords are quite good. They'll certainly probably take on these sergeants quite well. Certainly, like the Haramists over here, they're having a really hard time trying to break through because they're tier 2 against tier 3. So, they have a hard time. But that's the whole point. If we could, we'd have a naval assault from... we'd have these guys navally assaulting from, well, obviously from the sea. That's what a naval assault is. Because that's what the Barbary, like, some of the Barbary pirates did do. They did assault. I mean, they had mixed results. Quite a lot of ships did sink to the coastal defences of the Knights of St. John, but also they did have a bit of success and did do a bit of damage and help take some of the forts. But sadly we can't, so they're stuck with merely just assaulting from land as well. And we can see here these Franco-Marti like fully broken now. And already the Turks are kind of already assaulting this final defense. They're already having to draw in some really elite troops. We've got some handgunners coming up. So obviously this is like 16th century. So like handgunners and like artillery is well and truly into like the battlefield. And it's like a fully used thing now. Like quite common to see. And then you can see these Knights of St. John ready. That guy's quite excited clearly for it. He's pumped. He's ready to kill some Muslims for Christ and for Christendom. And you can see already there's a shock infantry already fighting against these sergeants. They should carve through these guys pretty easily unless they have support from the gunners and from archers. You can see, look at these ornate axes going on. Look amazing. And I mean, they're still struggling to get through here. They've broken through one of the sergeant units now. But they need to get some more support. I mean, there's these Azabs here. They're focusing down into the side of these Franco-Marti spears and the sergeants. That's good. That'll certainly help the Haramists out. They're making some progress. As you can see here, numbers are not looking good for the Ottomans. But you have to remember, they are still fighting a 3v2 at this point. Like the Sicilians are now starting to appear in numbers, it would seem. It looks like they are supposed to hit. I think it's a little bit early, as you can see. We only had like 10 minutes. 10, 20 minutes, 10, 12 minutes. I feel like they need a little bit longer. The Sicilian player turned up a little bit prematurely. Especially when you've got to remember that they turned up in history after the battle. It seems a bad idea to turn up at this point. And I still think that they have plenty of reserves to like the hospitalities. They have like got loads of troops left back here that they have not even committed yet. And you can see that the Turks are starting to see a bit of issues. They can see these shock infantry starting to break, and they still have a lot of men. They have over 100 men left, and they're breaking, or wavering, I should say. Not quite broken, but once you waver, you don't really, you're not quite the same as a unit. You can see some Martellosis coming in, trying to reinforce this front line, but this is a solid force. I mean, it looks like they're firing, are the gunners firing? I think they are. They're firing here on the flank. Ah, this is really nasty. This is a nasty little flank here. They've just got focusing down these guys. I mean, I don't know why the Turks haven't just sent something up to like engage and stop these guys. They're also firing their own gunners back here. The Janissary gunners are now up. I think they're trying to focus down the gunners of the Christians, but they're not doing having any luck. And obviously these gunners are doing a lot of morale damage. That's minus 13 morale, so that is huge. As you can see, yeah, the Sicilians have turned up, and I think it's a little bit early. And a huge cavalry fight's now going on outside the city. They walked straight into the surprise of these Turks here. I mean, they are winning some combats, they're losing some others. But as you can see, we are engaging the King of Sicily here, which should just be like the general, the Spanish and Italian general in history. But we don't have a unit for that, sadly. But yeah, he's about to get charged, and he's engaging some Cephas, which is a really good unit. And he's about to get attacked by some Ascari nobles as well. And yeah, this is going to be painful for him. And he's losing decisively already. And that's not going to help him at all. He really needs to get those crossbows up and help. And maybe send some of these swords over, or someone else. He needs to send them over. He's got like a random unit back here as well. He needs to be careful. He needs to be very careful. And he's starting to get stuff inside the walls. Or he's about to. You can see all these Aragonese starting mobilizing inside, which is unlike what happened in history. They just stayed outside. I mean, like I said, they turned up late. So they had no need to come in. But they are going to be welcome for the defenders. And the Turks are starting to run into some issues here. But they are still making progress. They're still, like, pushing them over. You've got artillery now inside here. And, yeah, they're starting to focus down generals, which is a little bit scummy, I thought. Like, at this point, you can see the balance of power is still in favor of the defenders. Never a good sign. And, yeah, they're trying to focus down units up there, or the artillery, I think. You can see the shock infantry is going back into combat down here. It's going to fight these sergeants. We've got some Eastern European infantry coming up. They've been subjugated by the Turks already, and now they're here to subjugate other Christians. And here they come. So yeah, these must be like Bulgarian or like Serbian troops. And there you go, they're into combat, and they'll help support and flank these sergeants. They'll do the damage. You can see here the same going on these crossbows. Instead of the gunners focusing down these Martelloses in the flank, getting some really nice shots off. I mean, they're breaking the Francomarti, but they're also losing like themselves. And there you go. Shock infantry is broken again, and we already have troops prepared, ready for the breaches for any problems with the cavalry here. And you can see the general is wavered. He's not broken. I don't know if he's dead. No, general is still alive. General is nearby. And, well, cavalry is, for the Turks, is certainly having some success. It needs to continue to have success. So winning here, it's good to see. And, I mean, there's a gun over here. There's a great bombard. Look at this. It's going to try and get off a shot, I think, on these infantry. It might get stopped by these two artillery. These two siege towers, I do apologize. There you go. Ascari nobles breaking. The general still alive for the King of Sicily. Will we get a shot here? I don't know. Will this great bombard fire? I kind of want to see it fire and put a big old hole in this unit. It's an Italian sword unit arriving. Let's get it from their perspective. Yeah, it actually does kind of have a sort of a clear line of sight from, like, actually no, it doesn't. It really doesn't, actually. It will go through both the siege towers, but this great bombard takes forever to load. But it's such a powerful thing. It like knocks a wall like to 70% instantly. But yeah, I don't think it's actually gonna operate. I don't know. It's taking the time. They got it. The guy's ready. There you go. Fires. What's he fired at? Oh yeah, he did. Wow, look at that. Whoa. That unit went from fresh to... It lost about 20 men nearly before it's going to get killed. But yeah, I mean, the Turks have a lot of units like left that are handy. They've got like Nafatoons. These guys are very useful for obviously breaking through shield walls. They've got still a lot of Janissary archers. They have billmen, which, I mean, the defenders don't have any sort of pike units, so that is good for the Turks. They are still breaking through. Look at this huge blob. They need to be careful, because they do have mortars to the defenders, and they'll be focusing down all sorts of stuff right now. And, I mean, they're falling back here already as well. But the Aragonese are now inside. So it's like kind of... Well, the Aragonese and the Sicilians, I should say, are now inside. So any sort of advantage that could be gained from this push is now kind of lost already for the Ottomans, because there's fresh defenders inside the walls already. Which is not good. Not good at all. And, yeah, these... Amuni de Army over here are gonna help now defend inside the settlement, and these guys are like just solid steel armor. And over here the Turks are breaking. They're having an absolute chain rout. You can see these archers on the wall here getting some really good shots into the rear, or these crossbows I should say. And yeah, they're focusing these guys on just absolutely like murderous fire. I mean, the archers here trying to do the same onto anything in here, but it's just so hard. And yeah, now they're going to just charge down. This is like a tiny bit of Martellus is holding, but not well enough. The shock infantry here is still doing well. It's still doing its bit. It's still holding. We've got gunners here ready to also like respond and do the same. But whether they'll be able to, I do not know. And yeah, you can see that's a big flank they've won there. And then the King of Sicily, I think he's still alive. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he is still alive. But I mean, the cavalry fight out here, it's kind of going a bit. It's going a bit. Well, yeah, that Balkan unit there just kind of got stuck on, like, just charged and didn't do anything. At this point, I think we'd kind of give it up on the cavalry. It's already losing. It's a real shame. We wanted, after we couldn't get their general, it kind of was just all our cavalry got engaged. It was a real shame, but because there's some very expensive units and they could have done a lot of damage. We were trying to focus heavily on trying to break through here, because this area here is like where they're going to have luck. The Italians, you can see, pushing down along with the Knights Hospitaller, and they've broken some of these gunners. And already the Turks are starting to run out of stuff on this front here. But they are breaking through here as well. The Barbary pirates have nearly made it through with all their Haramis. And I mean, they're running out of actual proper infantry. They're going to be onto shock and onto other stuff. There's a cavalry charge here. This is going to be painful. Yeah, that's pretty painful. What's that? That's the elite sword. Well, they're not even the elite swords. They're just Eastern European swords. They're just as good as the Martellosus, really. And there you go. They're getting engaged now. There's spears in there. There's shock infantry. This cavalry's probably not getting out of here anytime soon. Some of the Hospitaller cavalry doing its best, doing its finest. And surprisingly, yeah, these guys are actually... they're falling back now. They're actually still winning while falling back. That's surprising. And there you go. I mean, that unit did not fare very well, that sword unit. And there you go. They're already pushing onto the final cap point over here are the Turks. So, I mean, it's really close. The Turks just need to hold in some areas now and be aggressive in others. There'll be like the shouts of Deus Vult and Allahu Akbar, which God is great, and for the Sultan, and maybe for Christ. I don't know. Well, I don't know what else they'd be shouting. They'd be shouting a lot, but there's these gunners here in combat. They need to be careful. But you can already see Hospitaller Bodyguard in here now. This is the elite. So if they're a gold chevron unit, decided to give them, but they are insanely, upgraded. These guys are gonna have a good time in here. But all you have to do is shoot those guys. All you have to do is shoot the shock infantry. However many chevrons they've got, if you shoot them with archers, they'll still die. They will still die. Oh, and there's fire arrows coming in. That's not a bad idea. Whoever's firing fire arrows, it'll certainly damage morale. It'll bring that down. We also need to be careful that you don't do it to your own troops. That fire projectiles here, -4 morale, doing it to your own troops. These mortars are still going off. I don't know what they're firing at.
A unit is running from the enemy.
All sorts, I think. But yeah, the mortars are still doing their bit. There's a gun here still, like a culverin. It's got all the way in here. It needs to really like fire. It's only got 2 culverins left, but they could fire like these Hospitaller Bodyguard. They're just there. Actually, they're trying to fire at those mostly Genoese. I wouldn't bother. And that Genoese. No, what's this? The Hospitaller Bodyguard sent back in. Doing their bit. And what's over here? We've got plenty of like Italians. And yeah, you can see over here. Now they are making an assault onto the walls. They're able to surround these final few units that are over here. The Turks have basically been fully defeated here. A real shame. I mean, these shock infantry should hold for a while, but I mean, getting surrounded won't help. I mean, they're also getting shot by crossbows, I think, on the flank. And you can see here, yeah, they're just still fighting. This is the Italian troops that have been sent up here. They actually did beat the sergeants that were up here, but now they've got to face fresh Italian troops and basically fresh Hospitallers. We've got some gunners here as well. They're going to be in trouble in a moment. They need to get a volley off. They're like trying to fire, but they're really not firing like there. They want to fire down here. I think they're trying to fire at like the sergeants down there, I think. But yeah, they are now breaking through over here. So the Janissary archers are trying to do their bit, firing like over the top of this like sort of, I don't know what you call this, like sort of rubble, this like barricade here. They're doing like no good. What's firing over here? Oh, it's the Janissary, the more heavily armored Janissary archers as well. But you can see here, they're about to break these despot spears to some of the Italian troops that are being sent through the breach. It's all it required. All it required to break through was 1 unit of swords, and they would probably break through the spear unit. They've got crossbows up here as well, which is also nicely helping. That's a real shame to see. The Turks are going to lose this sort of flank here. There you go, they break. And the Aragonese swords are able to get inside. And now you have some Janissary archers coming up to support. And we're coming into the last 10 minutes of this siege. I mean, the Turks are still making a lot of progress, but I mean, so are the Christians now. You can see there's a huge blob going on here. They need to like focus this down. This is a huge blob by the Christian forces. There's a lot of looks like Pavi's crossbows in here. A lot of I was going to say Templars, not Templars, but they're not the Hospitalers. There's loads of units in there. They can get like some mortars or some Nafatoons. Where are the Nafatoons? Oh, they're coming up. That's good to see. Those Nafatoons could do some good work in there. And what we've got over here, we've got Hospitaller Knights coming around. They're going to face. They need to send some stuff around. The Turks do. What they got here? They got gunners. They're going to try and shoot down the street. That's not a bad idea. It might be a little bit too far the range. Yeah, you can see the shots going off, and I don't think they really hit anything. I think they hit like 1 or 2 Hospitallers. Like they did like no damage. Yeah, there's a lot of shock infantry around here. We've got lots of Italians now. We've got Hospitallers. Yeah, they've got lots and lots of troops. I don't know whether that general's dead actually yet. No, he's still alive. Still alive. I don't know what is going on there. Oh my gosh. Okay, the Italians have got cavalry in behind. I mean, this cavalry's gone so deep, it's definitely going to die. But it is charged in. It's done some damage. These Azabs will probably might break. They might not. But yeah, there's a lot of arrows now flying in, just trying to kill this cavalry off. And they're doing just that. But this Hospitaller bodyguard here is doing so much damage, just breaking everything. And there you go. In they go. They're going to go and attack these Haramists. The pirates. Oh, excellent. Just chopping down men left, right, and center. Let's see if we can get some more kills here. Yeah, these poor Haramists have got no chance. But we've got some more elite troops coming up. We've got some of these, like, ranged, like the combo, like the ranged and melee Janissaries coming up. These guys are really nasty. They might actually have some luck against these Hospitaller bodyguard. You've softened them up first with arrows, and now they're going to go in. You can see the Pavi's crossbows here desperately trying to, or the Genoese crossbows desperately trying to hit stuff. We've got more Italian troops coming around. The gunners over there have been routed. And it's a nice little setup here. You've got the archers here on the wall. They're focusing down into just about anything that just moves. While these Janissaries hold the line. They really need to, yeah, it looks like they're going to go and attack those Genoese crossbows. And you can see, yeah, the Janissaries just firing down from the top of this wall. It's a really good angle. And what is going on over here? We've got a general. We have the Sultan of, well, it's not the Sultan. He's not technically the Sultan. It's like the Supreme Commander at this point. It's Sultan never turned up to this siege. But he's the general. The main general has gone into combat here, and he's charging down these Italian troops. He's trying to break them. And he's getting cut down, certainly, by, well, it looks like by crossbows, mainly. You can see these Janissaries over here being surrounded. This is not a good sign. They'll fire on as long as they've got breath in their lungs. These brave, brave Janissaries. All they know is how to fight. I mean, they're getting mortared, I think, as well, so that's not a good thing. We need to be careful of doing that, because that could do a lot of damage to your own morale. Yeah, 2 units losing decisively here. That's not good. Those Janissaries can form squares, so they should try and form square if they've got the chance. So they are slowly getting surrounded. They have broken the Italian swords there. The Aragonese are gone. They now have to set up these swords and gunners if they want to. The Nafatoons have been shot at quite a lot. They have used some of their ammo. We did miss it, but I'm sure we'll see some more go off in a moment. And we've got halberds in here. Look at all these Janissaries. They really need to turn around and contain this unit. They need to like go square on here and like surround these guys, because they could do some good damage. And the balance of power is shifting ever more in favor of the Christians, as it did in history. You can see a general has been routed here. A Payet guard has been routed, and by another cavalry unit that's got inside. And that's not looking good for this flank over here. These Janissaries over here are now probably going to die, having a really rough time. Look at that man with a huge, like, just flag. You just thought, yeah, let's just poke it in someone's face. It'll do some damage. There you go. You got some of the Italian cavalry that's still alive. It's about to charge. Oh, it's a bit too... It's just a little late. Those Janissaries just broke. They knew what was happening. And yeah, now you've got the Janissary archers up here. They're now stuck. They're probably going to get attacked by someone on the walls. And they're focusing down these cavalry here. That's a good target. Kill as many of these guys as possible. And there's more archers getting ready. And more Haramis. These poor guys have been through so much. They might get charged here. They need to form shield wall. If they can full shield wall... Nope, they're not gonna. It's gonna be these Janissaries over here that are getting charged on. But they're still having a look at. I mean, those Haramis just broke those Italian swords, but then they broke. So, I mean, the Turks are still not out. They've still got some chance. And here you go, a charge in. This flank just needs to hold long enough while the far flank like still pushes on here. Look at that huge break by the Christian forces. The Nafatoons have thrown more Nafatoons. We did miss them. I do apologize. Yeah, you can see some of the explosions going off. They're causing a lot of damage in here. Oh, yeah, there you go. They're just causing a lot of damage to the shock infantry, and that's probably going to rout a lot of these guys. Yeah, you can see here, dismounted hospitals routing. We've got another one very close to, well, death. And they're already pushing in here. Look at this. They're now into the cap point of the Turks. They need to just hold on. These units over here, there's so many Turks here fighting for no reason, really. Like, there's a unit here that needs to go up and do something. Yeah, there he goes. It could have flanked around here. Probably should have flanked around here. But they've got plenty of troops still left. They just need to hold as many of these reserves here as possible while they make an assault. But you can see they're desperately sending back Hospitallers and Italian shock infantry. But I mean, both sides are running low. I mean, the Aragonese now are doing an absolute romp around here with some of the other troops. And you can see there's pole arms still here doing their bit. But it is going to be very, very close. It could go either way. 4 minutes left. And look at that. A huge chain rout by the defenders, and they're still losing here. They're going to get surrounded now by Martellosas, and they might rout here. I mean, they've still got plenty of units though. So, I mean, the Turks aren't running low just yet. I mean, they probably are lower than they'd like to be. And these Yayas are now holding the line. They're not that great. They're also a tier 2 unit, I believe. But they're okay. They're actually a pretty solid spear unit. And these Hospitallers are not doing so well with them here. I can still hear, like, mortars going off. So they're clearly firing at something. Got a general in here. He's flanked round and broken these billmen here. This billman unit's in a square formation. This one did form it. It's very Napoleonic style, but I don't know if they'll be able to hold. They're stabbing some Hospitallers away. The poor guy just got absolutely incinerated by like a flaming arrow. And there you go. I think they're breaking. No, they're just reforming. Okay. But they're now to charge down here. This cavalry's like causing havoc down here. Charging gunners. And this is not good. This is not what they needed, the Turks. They needed these, this cavalry to get killed off. They needed, like, to start firing some volleys into this cavalry. Get shots off. There you go. They're firing. Oh, that's going to be nasty. And there you go. I think they just killed that enemy general. But the general unit is not dead itself. They need to actually rout the unit because that's still dangerous as this unit. He's going to charge here. Oh, we've got another few shots off. And there you go. Another charge. And now what we've got coming in? We've got some Payet Guard here coming in. They'll do some damage. This is a general unit. And they're still pushing around here. Look, they're still having some success. This unit is losing decisively. I mean, though, everything's just about a chain route. That's not so good. Oh, they were doing so well. They were going to beat this infantry unit, this shock infantry. So low. I mean, what are the numbers right now? It's 1,300 to 2,400. It is quite close. But I think that the Turks have probably been beaten as they were in history. You can see here, look at this. Again, the crossbows getting put up on the wall and they're going to focus down. And yeah, it looks like history is going to repeat itself. And Malta is going to be held by the Knights of St. John. Just see the crossbow bolts firing down. They're just picking off like Turks left, right, and center. And yeah, there you go. They're pushing out now. They're trying to like hold back stuff. They still have like a little bit more ammo. I think they just run out now. Oh, this one still has ammo. Wow, they have looked after their ammo well. What is it firing at? Yeah, it's just firing at like Payet Guard down here. I think. Oh no, it's firing in here. They need to be careful. They don't want to just accidentally chain route a load of their own stuff. And yeah, the Turks are in full retreat now. They've got like just everything's getting sent up. Crossbows, archers, just everything's getting sent in. No retreat. The Sultan accepts no surrender. Men must die with a sword in their hand. Yeah, these crossbows down here doing their best. There you go, they're being pushed back, and they have probably lost this one. Yeah, there you go, they're all routed there, and yeah, I think that's it, basically. There's a few units like still holding, there's like a Janissary unit here, defending the gate to the last man. Firing some shots off, they might actually break that. Look at that, that hospital is down to 2 men. It's still holding. What is that nonsense? The enemy general's dead. That must be the Patriot Guard there, and there they go, they break again, those Janissaries just to rally just as quickly. Haramis getting sent back in, defending the gate to the last. These Janissaries just don't know how to surrender. There you go. That's probably going to wrap it up. I think that is literally the last unit. The gates have fallen, so they don't even have a way out. That's so sad. And a unit rallied there, but I don't think that'll last for long. And there you go. The Siege of Malta. Malta has been held, and Christendom has been saved. And in history, like in this battle, the tide will turn in favor of Christendom from here on in. The Turks will never make another threat on Europe like they did with the Siege of Malta and the Siege of Vienna. They were the last 2 real throws of the dice for the Turks to try and have some sort of influence in European, Western European politics, really, or Western European, I don't know, would you call it politics? Influence, I guess, I don't know. But yeah, so basically, well, what was it? I've forgotten what I was even going to say. That I just had an absolute brain fart. I do apologize. But yeah, basically, a very, very close defeat, really, for the Turks. It was very unfortunate. But yes, I was playing as this as the Sultan of, well, the Sultan of the Ottoman Sultanate. But like I said earlier, the Sultan wasn't there. It was like the Grand Vizier or whatever it is, Mustafa something or other was his name. I can't remember. But yeah, so I was playing as like the main army. I mean, it was fairly main army. It's got some little niggles here and there I would change if I was going to have a really, really elite army. But yeah, so we got these shock infantry, these shock Janissaries getting 188. This is pretty solid. They did okay. Hope that it might get into the 200s. The spears here, not even getting like over 50. The Martelos is getting 105. These 179 actually. These 3 didn't do that great, but these 2 did okay. My archers, one did terrible, one did quite well, getting 115. They're only light archers, so they kind of get focused on quite easy. Gunners getting 103 kills and 93 is not too bad. The cavalry getting like no kills, though they did nearly kill off the Sicilian general, which was pretty good. Pretty good. And then the cavalry getting 63 kills, so not too bad. Then we have Mythic Yeet, who was playing as the pirate army led by Dragut, so he had all the Haramis units. His Haramis actually did really well, 129, 119, 138, so he did pretty well. His Janissary archers, I kind of wish he'd used the arrows up a lot quicker. He was waiting for the shock infantry, which I did, to be fair, instruct him to do, but they kept it so far back, I really should have just used it up on anything he could see at that point. But yeah, his Janissaries really could get like into the hundreds of kills. Only got 159. It's kind of a shame for them. His Patriot Guard getting 129 kills. His general, it's quite good. His Azab's actually doing better than his Janissary archers, getting 175, and his cavalry getting 104, and his Naftoons getting 229. So that did really well. And then we have Escanor, who was playing as the other Ottoman army. His general getting 39 kills. His shock infantry getting 252. Sorry. So they did well. His Yayas getting 101, which is pretty solid for a tier 2 spear. Then his Bailman getting 149. His swords here getting 132. His Martelos is getting 151. His crossbows getting 29 each. And his gunners only getting 70 kills. But his cavalry, or his bombard, sorry, got 191. So that did pretty well. Yeah, he brought a bombard when he could have brought a cavalry. It didn't really matter. But anyway. Then we have Tizien, who's playing as one of the Knights of St. John armies. His general getting 247. He was the one that got shot at the end there. But he did very well, sacrificed himself. One of his shock infantry units, his Hospitaller Bodyguard, getting 350 kills. He did insanely well. His Hospitaller Knights getting 180 kills. His spears not doing that great, but that's no surprise. They were just the mere militia. His sergeant's getting 190 kills. That's pretty damn good. His Genoese crossbows 268, and his handgun is 164, and his mortar getting 298. So they did really well. Then we have Cuz I Feel Like It, who was playing as the other Knights of St. John army. His hospitality bodyguard also getting 224 kills. So they did really well there. And his spears actually did a lot better, getting 150 kills. His siren is getting 133, I think is the average, is like the largest one there. And then his cavalry getting 91, which is okay, not that amazing, but still okay. And then his mortar getting 197 kills. That is really well. And then we have Aiden, who's playing as the Kingdom of Sicily. His general getting 0 kills and nearly dying. It was a bit unlucky. Threw himself into a trap that he did not see. His shock infantry getting 187, so they did pretty well. His Aragonese swords getting 122. His Italian swords getting 208, sorry. And his Genoese crossbows getting 244, I think the best. And his cavalry 244, the best, sorry. Did I say the crossbows got 144 and they got 244? I think I swear I said 244 for the crossbows as well. But yeah, I think he appeared a little bit early. I think like these, the two Jerusalem armies still had a little bit left to give before the Aragonese had to arrive. But it worked out quite well. It was a very close battle in the end, and it kind of worked out like history. Not that it had to. The Ottomans were well in their right to win. But yes, it was a very, very good siege. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed, do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and leave a comment if you'd like to see some more 12-12 action. And if there's any scenarios you'd like me to try and reproduce, try our best to do what we can. Obviously, it's quite hard with some, like, obviously there's not like any custom maps and stuff like that. So you got to kind of like give your own little bit of imagination to like put in there. And also, if you'd like to join the Discord to take part in some of these scenarios, then the link is down below in the description. And until next time, Legionnaires, bye for now.